Wait a minute. Hang on. I think we got this, right? Right? It's one of these buttons over here, isn't it? I think it's this one. Isn't that it? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
That's not loud enough. Can we do that again?
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's still
Greetings, my excellent
better.
friend.
How you doing there, friends? My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is October 24th, 2024, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Where did my YouTube go? I have YouTube up usually over here. It's not there. There we go. Now we can see YouTube. That's better. Hello over there, YouTube friends. We got a couple folks watching over on YouTube. Let me say hello to the chat room. They're right over here. You'll be able to see messages from both Twitch and YouTube. Napalm Codes, good morning to you. C Sharp Titan, good evening to you in Melbourne, Australia. Happy time zones to the lanky Scottish nerd. Hello, hello. Null Sheffa with the big wave. Weird Beard Dev says, Woot Fritz is here. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Rambling Geek, good to see you. Really want to follow this project more, but this thing called work keeps getting in the way. So I did a bunch of recording yesterday for some other videos. When we get done today, I'm going to be recording a little summary, a little get started about here's what we're doing, here's the purpose. Oh my goodness. RWX Rob. Why isn't it reading the raid? Thank you so much for that raid. 24 viewers joining us. Got to run. Have a great time. Thank you so much for bringing your friends to join us. I have a little bit of coffee here. Getting things started. Let me start some music in the background. We can welcome in our raiders and talk a little bit more about what's going on in the project and whatnot. This is called Chromatic Cruise. When I point, you open up there. Thank you. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Twitch, YouTube, doesn't matter. Check it out at streambeats.com. There's all kinds of genres available. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for putting this music together that we're listening to today. Hello, Robert Stefan. Good to see you. Phil Vesey, hello. How you doing there? Exceldro, hello. Good day to you. How's things? So we've been building, we've been working on, and in the fallout after WordPress, we looked at some of the other content management systems that were out there, and we said, you know what, these aren't the droids you're looking for. No, these don't entirely meet our needs. They're not easy to set up. They're difficult to kind of slam in there and get running. They're not something that my non-technical colleagues in the marketing department are going to pick up and start working with. And we had some ideas, some goals, and some thoughts, and we want to work with our favorite programming languages. We want to work with C Sharp, work a little bit with JavaScript to build something that could be flexible, and it's a prototypical project for education, to build a blog, to build a content management system. And that's where we started off, and we're building this with the Blazor web framework. Walter, thank you for the resub.
Walter just resubscribed for 56 months.
56 months, thank you so much. And we'll make a donation to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Will SharpSite be integrated into Big Bad Blog? I think Big Bad Blog will feature some of the features of SharpSite, because we're going to get into some of the capabilities here. I don't think we're going to get into security today. Maybe we will, but there's definitely things that I'm going to backport and move over there, and I'll be continuing that series probably on the other side of .NET Conf, which puts me almost into January at that point. There's just too much that's going on right now for me and the types of content that I'm generating. I'm preparing a a session that I'm teaching at Microsoft Ignite in Chicago. That's the third week of November. Of course, I'm going to be hosting and producing .NET Conf coming up the second week of November. That's where we're going to see the new release of .NET 9, the release of C# 13, updates to .NET Aspire, what we call .NET Aspire 9. All of those releases. There's customers that are going to be talking during that event. There's all kinds of community folks that are going to be sharing some of the things that they do. It's going to be an amazing event. And it's not 3 days. It's 3 days of live content, but it's actually 5 days, including a day talking about careers for folks that are getting started, that want to learn about how to build and grow into a tech career. We've got a first day that we're calling the Education Day. 3 days of live content featuring the release of .NET 9. And then Friday, we've got even more pre-recorded content that's going to premiere on YouTube that day. Lots happening for that we're scheduling and planning. It's amazing that it's kind of grown into a 5-day event. So it's going to take me a little bit to get back into Big Bad Blog, but when we do, we're going to go at it like gangbusters and build out a bunch of what's going on there. Let me catch back up here. Jeeb, hello to you in France. Yeah, let's show folks that Blazor is fun and powerful. Absolutely. Clumhane, hello to you in Ireland. Welcome in. I don't have my Guinness hat nearby, because I took it with me and I was wearing it around Las Vegas. Funny things happen when you're wearing a Guinness hat in Las Vegas, and I'll just leave it at that, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's right, these aren't the droids you're looking for. No. These are iPhones, not droids. See what I did there? Gummy D3 VS. Afternoon, had a week implementing Dependabot across all the APIs this week. Already had nearly 100 packages updated automatically. Hey, that's great, Gunny. Very cool right there. Tools like that that kind of keep an eye on our projects and do some of the automatic upgrades. Really handy stuff. Really handy stuff. I expect if you're using any of the .NET tools, in November, you're going to see a similar push across your projects when that new version is released to get things updated to the latest version. Code with Sean.
Code with Sean just resubscribed for 52 months. Hello, sir.
Hello to you. Great to see you, Code with Sean. 52 months, and I'll make another donation to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. C# Josh says, good morning from New York City. Stuck working on an old Delphi project. But it's important. Watching me work on C# is C# Josh's saving grace. Well, thank you. It may be John. Maybe John? Okay, may not be John, but it may be John. Thank you for the follow. Hello, hello. Jeremy Knight with a big wave. I'm going to be busy. Oh, I'm quite busy in November. Today, I'm teaching a .NET Aspire workshop to my Microsoft colleagues. We have an internal event. Microsoft does this where we teach other folks at Microsoft how to use the various products that we're building. And it's a way to do knowledge sharing across the organization. You may do something similar with Lunch and Learns and other internal training events at your company, at your organization. And that's what we're doing. And I'm going to be spending a couple hours this afternoon teaching folks about .NET Aspire. So, Weirdbeard Dev says, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas until it's uploaded to the internet. Yeah, that kind of thing happens. Robert Steffen with a question here at the bottom of the chat. Does .NET Aspire have a way to declare a dependency to the local instance of Olamo? Yes. You can declare dependencies on any service. You point to the location of it, and you can create that dependency on it, and then pass that resource around inside of AppHost. Yes, you can do that. All right. So we are working with our K-Focus laptop this week, and we are we're wandering around and tinkering and writing code. Yeah, no problem, Robert Steffen. So, fun facts though, you can also declare dependencies on external APIs as well and pass that information around inside of a .NET Aspire app host file. So, lots of flexibility to build and move your content around, and when that dependency, when that API endpoint changes, update it in the app host, and it'll just trickle down, and all of your code, all of your services will pick up and have that feature pointed correctly. Eric says, I'm off next week. I have a Blazor AI project with .NET Aspire I'm working on, which I want to use AutoGen in the back end, local Ollama models. Nice. Good luck with that. Phil Vesey says, Rider just went free for non-commercial use. I know a lot of us use VS Code, but more free tools is a good thing. Sure. Absolutely. My initial thoughts of that are, what does that say about Rider that they went free for non-commercial use? That's my first question. So, yes, Visual Studio community did the same. Yeah. You have a project in mind, hope to have time to make it. Cool. That's great. So, there's reasons people decide to make things freely available, and we'll see how those business decisions help and affect the business. So, very cool. All right. Let me see here. Yeah. Yup. Just cool. I'm getting lots of news messages about things going on at Penn State, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. Oh, love this. I love when YouTubers try to steal the thunder of .NET Conf by, hi, we're going to give you the .NET Conf content a month before the event and tell you, here's everything that's going on. There were some kids that were kicked off the Penn State team over the summer, Penn State football team over the summer, for some bad behavior that's leading to a court investigation, a police investigation, and they're asking the school to comment on it. It's pending investigation. They can't say anything about it. You had an idea for a power toy and it was accepted. Really? What's the toy, Rambling Geek? What are you building there? You still prefer Visual Studio compared to Rider? Rider's platform is written in Java. It is. Visual Studio is written in C#, .NET, and C++, and works with a variety of different languages. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, what can you tell us about the stuff that you can't talk about? Well, the funny and the worst part is, they even had a going back to this Penn State story, they even had somebody from the public relations department step up and say, here's the university's position, we can't say anything more about that, and hand things off to the coach. And they started asking the coach more questions about those players, and the coach had to step away and say, he's gotta answer your question. Literally, you're asking somebody to get themselves into legal trouble. Come on. Copy as UNC. When browsing a mapped network drive, it can be frustrating when you want the UNC path. Oh, that's makes sense. Right-click function was added manually via the registry. Nice. Oh, very cool. That's a good tool for that. Yes, he could just respond no comment, but he literally has somebody from the university public relations whose job it is to answer those questions. And that's the model that they're going with. The way things are these days, and I hear news major university. Yeah, great stuff there. Hey, bald-bearded builder, hello. Diesel Dad asks, when working with Blazor in Rider, has anyone figured out a way to hide the Razor GCS files? No. Yes, I've been tweeting about health insurance. Somi5, hello, welcome. Am I trying to build a CMS system? Yes. It's going to be a long process. There's going to be a bunch of episodes here, but we're starting small and building out towards it. Yes, we are. So C# Titan, yeah, I've been running into some issues with our healthcare system and insurance here in the Philadelphia area. First off, the billing departments are absolutely garbage for our local insurance company, our local healthcare conglomerate that owns and manages the connections between most of the doctors' offices and hospitals in the region. I'm not going to mention their name. If you want to know who they are, you can look them up. But they own most of the hospitals in the region. Consequently, then, they have relationships with most of the doctors in the region. Their billing departments are awful. They don't get the insurance claims filed correctly, so we end up having to call and argue with them all the time. They've done things where they've invoiced me for procedures that my family never received. Almost 8-9 years ago, they invoiced me for one of my family members getting a hysterectomy. The problem was she was 10 years old and wasn't in the hospital. But I got an invoice for $1,500 for this procedure. The accounting department would not take my word that my daughter was not operated on. I had to literally call the doctor and say, why did you file a report that you operated on my daughter? And the doctor literally looked at their notes while I was on the phone with them and went, oh crap. Yeah. That's a HIPAA violation. And that had to go through. So I'm running through a scenario now where my wife went for a standard colonoscopy. We're in our late 40s. And I'm being billed for it. By the doctor, by the anesthesiologist, by the hospital. I'm not supposed to be. It's supposed to be covered. Daughter went for a regular visit at a specialist. Claim was not honored. I have to pay the full price for it. Like, really? Really? What exactly is the insurance company doing? Even with a deductible, there's a percentage that I should be paying. Like, really? Yeah, not a darn thing. No, I'm not trying to build a CMS system. I'm going to build one. That's right, Surly Dev. Good to see you. You've been doing all your C# and Visual Studio code for a while, says Bald-Bearded Builder. Just transitioned back to Visual Studio for Windows native stuff. Yeah. Not to be a jerk, but do you really think it'll be as big as WordPress? No. No, I don't, Al. And that's part of the dream and the goal is to be able to say, here's some really cool features that I want to build. WordPress is 35 to 40% of the internet. 1% of the internet is massive. Let's start there. 10% of the internet is insanely big. So, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that there are ways to build things that are a lot more user-friendly. There are ways to build things that work better in containers. We can do things to help build an application that, because it's built with C#, can integrate and run things that are built with other languages and integrate nicely with it. I think there are ways that we can add flexibility so that you're not required to use a specific database or use a specific model. I think there's an extensibility model that can be offered with C# and the various frameworks that we're going to use with it that will allow for a very rich and robust ecosystem that anybody can use and anybody can deploy, that will work on any hosting provider, any cloud provider, that will also allow you to work with any data storage that you would like. There's flexibility there that we can add in. And we're right at the beginning of this process. These are dreams, these are goals. We've outlined some of them. You can find the link to that down in the YouTube description. I haven't put the link to the project over here on Twitch yet, so let me add the project command over here. I will add that link. That is github.com, not C# Fritz. Fritz and Friends, Sharp site. There you go. All right. So, you had the same issue in New Jersey, tried to charge $800 for a COVID test 4 times before they realized the insurance already, covered it. Yep, it was me. I got the hysterectomy. There you go. So, hospital billing is awful. Literally, I'm going to end up spending an hour or 2 on the phone later today just chasing accountants and lawyers. U.S. healthcare is a dumpster fire. It's not only are they trying to steal my money because they're not filing paperwork properly and saying, oh, well, the patient will pay for it. No. The health insurance company will pay for it. But they're now wasting my time. They're now stealing my time. Yep, Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's right, Asheroth. Napalm was in a bad car accident years back, and you should have seen the bills they sent. For some reason, they came to you and not the insurance. Yes, because the insurance company doesn't respond quick enough, so they turn around and send the bill to us as well. So, yeah, I'm going to keep that to myself for right now. Is the politics paralyzed to anything about it? What? Didn't Apple start with 1% market share with the iPhone? They did. That's right. We don't have to build things for profit. Yes. And we can build in appropriate licensing terms into usage so that, you know what? Hey, if you are hosting a platform, it'd be great to send some royalties back to the production team. I think that's perfectly fine to request of a company that's selling and hosting services that us as software developers built, but build it in at the beginning. So, will it be software as a service or will it be a private cloud solution? Asks Angry Ginger Dad. I think what we'd like to do is make it something that can be deployed with a container easily. That way it can be both. And we'll see it grow and mature and make decisions later based on that. You're going to take a 5th job to gain some money so you can pay Bald Bearded Builder to do your site? Aren't interfaces the template uses to model behaviors your code needs to support so your code can be extended and not require loads of constant change? A little bit, yes, certainly. There's also something to be said for conventions, coding conventions, Configuration conventions can help with that as well. Hey, Codebase Alpha, hello, hello. This is Ubuntober, that's right. It's a theme month where we spend the entire month coding with Ubuntu Linux and programming with C#. High-Tech Redneck says most payers have a timely filing deadline. If they don't get a bill before it's up, they won't pay without a huge fight, and likely not then. Fun fact, High-Tech Redneck. My wife had a minor procedure at the beginning of 2023. Ads are in progress. My wife had a minor procedure at the beginning of 2023. And we were told, here's how much it's going to cost. And the bill came a couple weeks later. We paid the bill, thought it was done. 9 months later, we got the bill from the anesthesiologist. 2 months after that, we got the bill from the facility. So we got the bill from the doctor, and the doctor who told us here's how much it was going to cost, that was how much it was going to cost. The bill from the anesthesiologist and then the bill from the facility arrived so much later that we looked at it, we called, we started to talk about it. The insurance company said, we're not covering this. And it went immediately to collections. And I'm like, hang on. This is the first I'm seeing this. Well, your insurance company took their time getting back to us. Like, because you didn't send them anything until 11 months later. And now I'm paying thousands of dollars for an anesthesiologist in a hospital facility. I literally, in this country, if you get sick, forget it. You're done. You're done. So, watery events. Hello. Debt collection industry is in a weird state. They're all consolidating into bigger and bigger agencies. Oh. But who's going to fix healthcare? No. It's not something that is going to get fixed anytime soon with folks in this country. It's very political. Developers. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. A lot of issues start with your pre-arrival registration, wrong insurance gets at it. Yep. Will I be integrating Clam AV for embedding images or uploaded images? I hope so. Hey, Digital Drummer J, happy Thursday. Chris LeBron 949 says my son had an autism evaluation, send a bill for $2,000 a year later. Called the hospital. First lady said I need to pay it ASAP. Second lady said, sorry, we sent the bill by mistake. I've had this happen where they sent me a bill and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I got to pay the bill. And I go and I pay the bill. And then I get a check back a month later because the insurance company finally paid. And it's awful. It's awful. A private cloud clone of application insights for .NET would be good in EU because of Scrimmy. We're limited to some products. GDPR and Scrimmy is blocking a lot of cool products. I'm not familiar with that. Short period of time, my wife was on a ventilator. Oh my gosh. Just the machine was $125,000 for 3 days. And they sent that bill to you directly. Yeah, dear Lord. Hey, Warm Peas, hello. C# Titan studying for the Azure AZ900. Do I recommend books or Microsoft Learn? Microsoft Learn. It's up to date. It's maintained and kept up to date. Yeah, that machine has been paid for over and over again. They're making pure profit on that machine now. Alu the Crow, hello to you. High-Tech Redneck says one of the first projects that needed to be fixed 7 years ago was for denials. They have to email facilities every day and wait on the reply to be able to fix issues and refile the claims. Oh, dear Lord. Manually working from a spreadsheet and then waiting for the facility to reply. Oh, You had surgery back in 2017 that luckily caught. Ugh. Have a good one, Robert Steffen. My profile picture is fake. I don't have a rainbow beard. I occasionally do. I occasionally do. So, really? Building a web app in C# is possible, but not a clever thing to do, says Psychotrupa. Really? Tell me more. I'll wait. Why isn't it a clever thing to do? Help me out there. Help me understand why it's not clever. You do realize you're watching a channel called C# Fritz. I'll wait. I'm happy to talk to the troll about this. Tell me more. What happened to my mouse here? What? Like, none of my external peripherals are working here. One second. Okay.
Oh my.
Oh, right. Now let's restart that. It feels like some of the drivers or something. Let me see here. Would be more clever to build a web app in assembly. Would be totally clever. That's right, Coding Chemist. Watery Events on YouTube says I switched to Ubuntu Studio as a daily driver. I usually use LMDE, but I'm super happy with this distro. Cool. That's great. Have I tried Ghost Chilies? I have not. Kai 000. And we still have on the agenda to do a Hot One style chicken wing eating stream. I have my schedule has opened up now for things like that, and I might be able to do it next week. Tomorrow's tricky. No, actually, tomorrow might be. I was looking at tomorrow and thinking I might be able to do a stream in here. Let me see what I can do. I might be able to do this tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Discord and my social media. I might be able to do something fun there. Napalm writes, all the web apps in C++ because bleh. Yeah. We're building more automations now to resolve issues and get those that need a human touch. Only the accounts that need work on and not hundreds of others. Awesome high-tech redneck. I love the coding and doing things automatically and leaving the exceptional stuff to be reviewed by humans. Nice. That was a little bit loud, not gonna lie.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
That's right. It's my Monsters University hat. There you go. You write web apps in VB6? I did write web apps in VB6 back in the day, Lucky Luke. Yeah, and that was a thing. Totally a thing. Not a happy experience at all, let me tell you. So, Sean the Sheep Meow? Thank you for the follow. How many accounts do you have over there, Sean? One Miracle. What's my professional background? Well, this is a little bit of C# logos and other. Right, there's a plus in there. There's some what looks like a tag going by there. It's not. It's an animated background. It's not professional. I hired somebody and they made this. So there's an about section just below that has a little bit about my bio there that you can take a look at. I'm a program manager on the on the .NET team, helping out with building, writing demos, tutorial material. I'm also the executive producer of the .NET conference series. I'm a regular speaker on the speaker circuit, speaking at conferences both in the United States and internationally. How's that for a professional background? Developers. Thank you for the follow. I think that was okay then. Dave Gouge says, hey, Surly Dev. Oh, okay. There you go. You should start writing web apps in Bicep. Don't do that. You have a guy at your work that developed EF, and you're learning how powerful EF8 is. Do I know how the in query for DB query async works? I need some more context. Do I know how it works? Not off the top of my head. Machine learning module on Blazor is now actually predicting live data using D3 graphs. Cool. Good for you. That's great. One is sheep and the other is meow. Okay. Web apps in VB6. Man, takes you back. JavaScript VB6 was the first real programming language. Yeah. Yeah, there were things over there. So. Oh, they're gone. They're gone. What would be clever to build web apps with? I don't try to be clever. I try to be helpful. I'm not. Clever is the enemy of being educational. Clever is the enemy of being productive. Clever is the enemy of good communication. You can do that, but it makes good communication a little bit harder because folks don't know what they're looking at. You build all your web apps with an abacus. Well, there you go. Delphi. Hey, what are events? The last software as a service company that I worked for, we had a really big application that we built with .NET, and the application server that it connected to do a bunch of business logic processing was maintained by one or two developers, and it was written in Delphi. So you're not too far off. You're not completely wrong. But yeah. Alu the Crow is the enemy of being productive. Have I seen your GitHub? I haven't. Have you seen mine? Clever code is the enemy of maintainability. I think clever code combined with some of the concepts of Uncle Bob Martin's clean code means that you end up with a good balance of you can hide the clever code in a place where it can be clever and it's still maintainable and in a way that the rest of the organization, the rest of the project team can grow and enhance. You're trying to debug code now that someone has been a little bit too clever with. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, and I hear the arguments both for and against the clean code approach, and that's fine. Is the trade-off, is the speed trade-off worth more than the maintainability and value of not rewriting the application every 2 or 3 years when you have turnover in your organization? You're working on a Blazor WASM Twitch extension. Be careful there. I don't seem to remember Twitch being too kind to hosting the WebAssembly libraries. So I'm curious to see how that's received. So we've been working on SharpSite. There's a project pinned to the top of Twitch chat. It's right over here that you can go find that, or you can run the project command in Twitch chat. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description just below. You can find a link to the project. It's a completely open source project. It's a blog project that we are right at the beginning of, and we're building and starting very, very simple and going through some of these basic steps to build with Blazor. And we're getting into some of the more interesting parts in the next couple streams here. So keep an eye on things as this grows and we move it forward. So Delphi, you're working on some clever Delphi code right now? Yeah. Lil Saf is at work. Hi, Lil Saf. And friends over there that are looking over Lil Saf's shoulder, it's okay. It's just me, Fritz, and we're having a good time talking about tech and code. And hey, you should join us. Check it out. We're on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch. YouTube is probably going to make it through the work firewall, but come on in and join, and we're having a good discussion here. We're going to write some code. Maybe we'll learn together, and I'm even answering folks' questions. So if you're looking over Little Saf's shoulder, it's okay. It's all cool here. We're all friends. We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything bad yet. So. You got home from work to a Fritz stream. Hey, Ritter Rasmus. Yeah. How you doing? Let me head over to the Linux machine here. We're running on Linux. We're hanging out here. And I have some issues that we've laid out here to try and make it clear, the things we want to get done over the next few weeks. So we have a minimum viable milestone that we've defined here. Scroll that up, Fritz, so they can see it behind the keyboard. Right, there's the keyboard. So let's take a look at the minimum viable, and I haven't really set due dates on these things. Just kind of threw it out there that, hey, we're going to work on. We want posts to be able to support Markdown. We're going to have some fun trying to get a Markdown editor built and embedded and loaded into our system here. It shouldn't be too hard to do. There's plenty of components out there that provide that type of functionality, so we'll take a look at what we can do with that. But I think I want to go after this one. I think I want to go after setting up and enabling a build with GitHub Actions. And I've got a pull request sitting out here. Add a new inspiration of the logo by Deepex. Let's take a look. So there was an initial logo that DJ Deepex put together that we could use as we're working on this. And there it is. That's pretty cool. I love the sharp angles and things, and it's a little bit 3D. So, not bad. The problem with this is it's on a gray background. And if I want to use that anywhere else, right, it'd be nicer to have either a white background or a black background or even a transparent background. So, just a couple of usability issues. So let me know what you think about that. Okay, what do we have here? No, not a fan. I really like the other one. Not a fan of this take on a logo. I'd really like the other one, but with a transparent background. That way we can use it in various locations. Locations. Yeah. So, how's it going there, McNets? Yes, it's YAML time. That's right. Mythin, good afternoon to you. So, yeah, this is going to be a pain in the neck, isn't it? Right? Let's do this. I'm going to right click and say close everything else. Yeah. Close everybody else. Bye-bye. All right. But yeah, we're going to go in and we're going to do... Where'd it go? There was a great discussion around robots text. Where did it go? Yeah, here we go. GitHub Actions. To build and test. We don't have test yet. And MDE Bruin here put together an initial GitHub action, and it didn't build quite right. What's the link to the Twitch? It's the same as the YouTube channel, except it's Twitch. It's Twitch TV C# Fritz. Same channel name. How you doing there? Just a guy that likes games. So, need to find a way around this. So, I'm going to start with a little bit of this code that MDE Bruin passed along here. Yeah, let's see what we can do to get this working. This is number 7. Hold on to your butts. Let's see how this actually might be easier to do this actually in GitHub. There you go. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Isn't there a link over here on the right for configure and test the .NET? Yeah, let's start there. I actually paid for WinRAR? Oh no! Right in art. Look at the raid coming in. Hello. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you so much for the raid. Join us. Get on in here. Come on in. My name is Jeff Fritz. Hey, yo. Welcome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And the follow. My name is Jeff Fritz, and we're writing a little bit of code with C#. We're building. We're hoping to through a very long series of streams here, build a compelling content management system that maybe competes with WordPress someday. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you so much for the rate. What were you doing over there on your channel? Let's hear a little bit more about what you were doing and throw a shout out over there. You were working on a C++ SDL2 tower defense. Nice. With no game engine. Ooh, that is a very cool game to be building, but with no game engine. That is from scratch. That is a bold attempt. Good luck to you on that. I'd love to hear more about it. Let me drop a shout out. Mods, can we get a shout out for Ryan Art? It knows this hat. Let's do that hat command one more time. I'm using 2 computers here. We have an AI in chat that actually takes pictures. You're doing the pixel art also? Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me just look down so that we can be sure it gets a good picture. There we go. It's my Monsters University hat. See that? So you're right. There's an AI in chat that takes a picture of that you see here from this camera, sends it off to an AI, it analyzes my hat and reports back what it is. That's very cool that you're doing all the art yourself. As a software developer, I get frustrated with doing the design and art around my websites and applications, and I like to bring in somebody else to pick that up. You're a madman? No. That's a bold and awesome effort. Good luck to you there. Thank you for the shout out to Ryan Art there. There we go. It's a long process here, Zons, but we're working on that. Yes. So, is that a hat copilot? No, it's not. And I've tried and I've talked to some folks about building that, and nobody seems to have a good answer to do that. I have plenty. I literally have hundreds of seed images for this, for detecting my hats and definitions of what they are. And I have not been able to identify anybody that can help me with that. But I have all the data. You're welcome, Ryan Art. Yeah. Love the emotes. Those are awesome. So. All right. So, yeah, Byfask was asking if it was a Monsters University hat, and you saw the hat command helped out with that answer. There we go. All right. So we're doing a little bit of GitHub actions here, and there's the keyboard that we're using. So this is going to on push to main or a pull request into main. Should do a build. It's going to do a checkout setup.net. I don't want it to do a with .net version because I'm using .net 9. There's a way to set this up so that it'll use a global JSON file. Global JSON is a file that allows us to specify the version of .NET tools that we're using. I forget what the syntax is for that. And I think I have a global JSON file in the project. We'll go dig that up. Right. Let's do run VS Code up not this folder. I wanted up a folder. Open folder. We're going to go up a folder. Yeah, that folder. This one. Really? You're going to make me go up a folder and click on it? All right, whatever. What do I know? I don't know. I don't have a global JSON file in here yet, so I should probably create one to help with driving and setting that standard here. So let's do a .NET new global. That's not it. That's not it. Global JSON. All right. So now take a look at that. There's a roll forward command in here. Really? So let's get that syntax down so that I have the global JSON file, and then I'll point the .NET build action at the global JSON file. This way, the GitHub action knows the version of .NET that I'm trying to run with. This also helps the other developers because that global JSON file will force other developers on the project team to have that same tool set to install and work with and compile the application together. So let's go look for global JSON. Right, I want it's a roll forward. Yeah, that roll forward. Right, there's a roll forward syntax that we can use, and I always forget what it is. Really? I do want allow pre-release. So it's a Boolean, right? So you're telling me here I can. Does that go under SDK or is it next to it? I guess it's. You're not telling me. Not telling me what these are. Okay, fine. So let's add allow pre-release, right? Put my fingers on the keyboard correctly there, Fritz. Allow pre-release, right? Pre-release, yeah. And the value for that I want to be true. And it's the roll forward. Here it is. And I think I want to allow it to roll forward to the specified minor version, not major. So I don't want it to go from .NET 9 to .NET 10 automatically. So let's specify roll forward. And that's a string, and I will say minor. I think that's all I need. Right? So if I .NET build right here. Uh-oh. What'd I do? What'd I do? Holy smokes. I've angered it. Are you kidding? Unable to resolve the SDK, blah, 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 blah. What? I didn't put a comma after the version. Why you? Right? Comma. And try that again. There it goes. Now, let's do a git pull first here. Yep, cleared up. Handful of others. And I got rid of warnings. I've set up central package management, so all the packages are defined in a central properties file. I've also turned on across the solution treat warnings as errors, so that we don't have warnings kind of pollute the project here. So, the wrath of the JSON gods. Amen to that. I've angered it. I do. All right, so let's add, right? So there's an update to the solution file. Really? No, that shouldn't be there. No. Tomatoes cannot be trusted. Why can't they be trusted? What's wrong with tomatoes? Thank you for the follow. Git remove sharp site app host sharp site app host SLN. And I want to remove that file from disk. That shouldn't be a thing. Sharp site app host, right? Sharp site. Come on, give me. There we go. All right. Now let's commit that, John. Added global JSON to force a .NET version. Right? And now I can git push. Cool. Let's set up back over here. Open that up. We should get the pull request prompt. I should get the pull request prompt. Fine. Really? Why don't you see anything here? You should see it. I updated it. Tell me more. Thank you. Create that, squash it. Make it happen. No. All right, so now I have a global JSON file. So I want to make the action, right? There it is. When it says with .NET version, I want it to pick up and use global JSON there. So tell me where... No, you don't have an entry here for global JSON. You can cache NuGet dependencies using the optional cache input. Okay, do that. I'm game with that. That sounds like a good idea. So, where was that? Over here. It's in the width. Okay, but I want it to pick up the version from the global JSON file. Yeah, get rid of those warnings. Absolutely. Get rid of all those. Will global JSON for pre-release still be supported in Visual Studio? Yes. Yes, it will. You've been looking at keyboards like this? Which one is that? This is the Digma Defy. Tomatoes cannot be trusted. There's all kinds of programmability built into this using a tool they call Blazor. Check that out. And I can configure macros. I can configure individual keys, individual lighting on the keys, so that when I shift to other layers, each key changes color appropriately. So there's macros, advanced modifiers. There's 10 layers here. So you see the orange key here, right here? That's my Overwatch key. And when I hit it, notice the right half of the keyboard turns almost completely off, except for my escape key and my return to normal typing key. And over here are my controls for playing Overwatch. Really cool stuff. So use the keyboard command there in chat, and it'll give you a link to this keyboard, so you can learn more about it. You welcome our tomato overlords. Don't say that in front of the Italian folks. The pasta gravy that they make, fantastic stuff. All right, make sure you not gonna lie, love the pasta sauce. All right. So, anyways, base core is available and runs on every operating system: Windows, Mac, and Linux. You can download and run it. This is frustratingly void of to use a pre-installed, use the setup.net. This action finds a specific version of .net from the tools cache on each runner. The setup.net action is recommended. Wait for more information. Okay. Yep. Unless a concrete version is specified in global JSON, the latest .NET version installed on the runner will be used by default. Okay. So we can specify .NET quality preview. Use the global JSON file input. There we go. Yes. Can read .NET SDK version from a global JSON file. If that file was supplied, if input does not exist. And caching NuGet packages. Yes, that sounds like a great idea. But let's do that. So instead of specifying .NET version here, let's do this. And it's right on the root of the project. So I don't need to have it navigate or do anything there. .NET Restore, .NET Build. I don't have any tests yet. And I've got a syntax for tests that I want to use, so I'm going to remove that for right now. We do need to do a workload restore. Let's see what happens. Hang on. Let's call this just .NET build. We'll call this. Yeah. Right? And, well, we should probably call it .NET dash build so that it kind of aligns. Right? So that the name of the workflow aligns with what it is. Sure. Sure. Go ahead, commit it directly. And boom goes the dynamite. Is it going to build anything? Going to do the thing? No. Now, okay, it says it's building. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on things. Nope. Runtime with version 8.0.10 is installed. Installed version is 9.0.100. Installation dependencies lock file is not found. Packages lock JSON. Okay. Did not restore and did not complete. Hey, Pokey Wilm. Hello. Does .NET Aspire 8 have with lifetime? No, it does not. No, it's not. It's not available until .NET Aspire 9, but it is there. PokeWilm, I was just talking about that. This is the Digma Defy. You can find a link to it just below here on Twitch, or you can run the keyboard command there in chat to get a link to it. All right, so this didn't like doing the .NET restore, and it wants... That's interesting that it wants a packages lock JSON. I've never had to add that before. Like, really? No. Why does it say it wants... The script does not resolve dependencies during installation. Yeah. By doing the restore and build as separate steps like that, it allows us to see them individually here inside of the build action instead of it all being lumped together. Right? We will actually be able to see exactly how long the restore took, how long the build took, so on and so forth. Makes it a little bit clearer when it comes time to do any kind of debugging like this. And like any type of continuous integration development, this is going to be a mess. This is going to be a disaster and a mess. So, select your operating system in the dependencies section. Huh? What? I'm not running. Adding to current path. This is during the .NET install. Why am I getting... Why am I getting that? No. The action searches for NuGet lock files in the repository root, calculates their hash, and uses it as part of the cache key. If the lock file does not exist, this action throws error. Hey, I just saw that. Caching NuGet packages is available since blah, 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 blah. This action will only restore global packages folder. I don't have that. You can use disable implicit NuGet fallback folder option. Where? Where does that go? I don't have a
It doesn't matter what you think.
I'm just going to turn off caching. And yes, switch to the editor. Thank you. Sounds like FedEx is here. Removed caching of NuGet packages. That's right, that jabroni. So let's see what happens. Build. Yes. Waiting for a runner. Don't mind if I do. Setting up, doing the .NET install. Installation finished successfully. Restoring. Hey, there goes .NET Restore. Finally. Makes sense. Ah, good. Thank you, Gunny. Yeah, see, so there I can see the .NET Restore ran successfully and it took 8 seconds. Now it's building, and now it's doing just the build, so I can clearly see what it's going through there. That built properly. No post setup, no post actions, completed. And total build time was 28 seconds. So if there was caching in there, theoretically, this 8 seconds right here would go away. Theoretically. It's 8 seconds. I'm not losing anything off of that. All right. I think we can mark that we have an initial GitHub action ready to go for us. So this is in 991. I want to make sure that I mark that in the issue for the GitHub action. Here we go. I just added a default GitHub.net build action in... Well, that's not going to work. Get rid of all that. And that. And that. Oh, what is it to get the hash? Where do I host it? It's on GitHub. It's doing build test. It's not actually hosting anything. Shoot, what's the markdown to indicate a the GitHub markdown to indicate a commit? Right? It isn't just that, is it? Oh, I guess it is. All right. There we go. Done. All right. One more thing down. So the last thing we have is posts should support markdown. I think this is going to be one where I need your help, chat room. Let's talk about a simple markdown editor that we can bring in and use with Blazor for this. You know what I mean there, Vern? That's right, I verned. All right. I've been getting some requests from the .NET Aspire team to try out and migrate to the latest version of .NET Aspire with Aspirify Net. And I've got some back and forth discussion that's happening there. So, you always like Sync Fusion, but not sure you... No, I don't want... Because then I can't make it open source. Right? Maybe the fine folks at Telerik have something. They do, but I can't make it open source. Right, so let's look for open source Blazor markdown component. I could consider adding Mud Blazor. Yes. Telerik is still around. Their parent company is Progress Software. Yes, SyncFusion's .NET MAUI controls are open source, but they aren't going to work for Blazor. E. Rossini with Blazor Markdown Editor. Okay. Blazor Bootstrap. Let's take a look at this one. Blazorize Markdown component. I think we've looked at this one before. Blazor Markdown Editor. This is an MIT license, so it's compatible with our licensing. Blazorize look nice. Yeah. We could look at, is there a Fluent UI Markdown editor? Where did... So here's the Blazor one. And what's the licensing on this one? I think I have used this before and struggled with it. I think I have. Yeah. What's the license on this? Oh. Packages. Ah, that's it. License info. It's open source as long as it's not commercial. I can't use it. I can't. What's this one look like? It was archived. And it hasn't been touched in 3 years. No. That looks very similar. And a mermaid render? Okay. Can I use a JavaScript one? Sure. There's a Fluent UI one as well. Contains easy markdown editor. And that's MIT, so we're okay there. Let's try this one. How do I install it? I think I've tried this one before. You're not going to give me an installation, are you? TypeScript. Simple MDE plus MarkDig. Yep, that's kind of where I'm going to end up at. Give me some installation instructions here so I know what the entry point is. You're not going to give me that. Grab that. Back over here. Let's create a... let's create a... Right, create a branch. Feature. Markdown editor. And we'll jump right back here so that I can run the application. Let's see if .NET Watch is going to be happy with us today, because that would be much easier to use. For the Blazor license summary, I get it. But it limits me if at some point somebody packages and wants to go commercial with this that I'm building, it becomes a red flag at that point. Okay, so let's jump over to another, and I'll drop into and honestly, that's me wanting to honor your license. So sharp site web, and now we'll .NET add package this. Yep, looks good. All right. So, edit post. No, edit post is where I am. Thank you. So, if we want to use that editor, it's right in here is where I'm going to be. There are a lot of unmaintained Blazor components out there. Yes, you had a heck of a time finding a mapping component and had to settle for syncfusion. No doubt. And this is the value in choosing a paid component. Without question. Microsoft should build a component library for Blazor? No. That's not going to happen. Fluid UI is built by Microsoft. Built and sponsored, supported by Microsoft. Like, that's the user interface they use in the Office libraries. Those are basic building blocks. You want full components. Yeah, they're not going to do that. This is the line between building and supporting a community versus and enabling other folks to build onto your technology. So we need a couple using. I don't want using statements in my imports file for this. I'm going to put it in here, and we'll put it right there. We need to add a couple lines for links and scripts. Fine. We need to put that inside of app Razor, right? So we'll paste those in here, and we'll move some of these around. Okay. And we'll take these two, yank them, and we'll paste them in here. Now I know there is a way to conditionally load these, only on the page that needs them. I think that's something that we'll come back to later. Right. There was, page script, the page script component. I'm not going to put this on.
Developers.
I don't want it on this milestone. Hey, Savior, thank you. Appreciate you joining us. Investigate and start using the page script feature. We should only include scripts like those for the Markdown editor on the pages that present that editor. The page script feature should help with this. And I'm not quite sure when that needs to be done, when we need to fit that in, but now we know, have a reminder to do it. Blazor has one component, quick grid. Now there's input text, input select, right, those other forms, but quick grid is really the only one that ships with it. Nope, no value to doing it. No, the ecosystem has absolutely taken off. There's a bold ecosystem of free and open source components and commercial components that you can use. What would be really neat of Microsoft to do is to release a VS Code like Shell that is Blazor Studio with rendered previews like WinForms. Somebody could build that as an extension to VS Code, you know. It has improved. Thank you, C# Titan. We're getting better. We're definitely getting better. The OSS components are very spotty in maintenance. Then help them. These are volunteers that are giving away their content for free. If the content they're giving away isn't up to snuff, if it doesn't meet the quality needs that the community has, help them.
And then?
So, like, if your company is using a free and open source component as part of a project, a product that you're selling, why not throw the development team a GitHub sponsorship? Hey, here's $50 a month. Thank you so much. It's going to cost you $600 a year. That's nothing. But it helps motivate the people who build and manage a component that you depend on. Companies are a different ball of wax. Totally. Totally agree. And, oh shoot, no, we want that, because we want to configure that a little bit, and we should add another feature here. Activate package caching in the GitHub build action. Don't know when it'll be done, but we've got it out there as a reminder to go take a look at how to do that. So we're going to go down into here, and we want to be able to edit these and replace this content block with the Markdown editor. So how do we do that? Add Markdown editor. In a Razor page, you can add the following component. I'm in a whatever. Markdown editor, bind value, markdown HTML changes, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So you're telling me I can do this right about here. Bind value is going to be that. And on markdown value HTML changed. Yeah. I'll add it right in here. Okay. So we will say post.content. Right now, why don't you like that? No, it won't be. It won't be. We're okay. Because it creates one. Okay. And I'm going to need... So is markup string, is that something that I can use somewhere else? Right, so I'm going to need that in my page view component. Right, it's like page or view page or post view or something like that. That's a component. This one. right? It was like markdown string, something like that. Yeah, we need to wrap the whole thing here at one of these, and jump back over here, and we're going to put one of those. And it doesn't know what this is, so hopefully... Come on, give me a using statement. No. Wrong. I bet it's this one. It was markup string, not markdown string. There we go. Oh. Wait a sec. Hang on. That might not be what I want. Couldn't help with the pipeline. That's okay, Mythin. Hey, we figured out what the issue is. We got it cleared up. Does Digma follow up with me to see if I'm... Yes. They've actually reached out to me a couple times to see if I need help tuning, configuring things here. Yep. I'm in touch with their head of marketing, and there's definitely features that I want to add to the keyboard. Is that the... No, I want the markdown value. I want the markdown value. Because I want to save the markdown value. And then parse and present the markdown. And we're going to need to configure some of these. So, hang on. Back over here. So can we change it? Is it like value changed? And let's make this clear and call this on markdown value changed. I don't want to add a custom toolbar. I don't want that. But I'm going to want, when it comes time to embed images, I'm going to want to take and save those images off somewhere else. So it's not a markup string. We're not getting HTML out. We're getting markdown out. We want to convert the markdown into HTML. That's where I'm going to need markdig, I believe. Yeah, I think I need markdig. And some of these other features that are in here, we're going to want to take a look at and tweak and tune in the future. .NET add package markdig. Cool. So, right, I forget what the command is. To convert using markdig to convert from, look at that, pipe tables, grid tables. Nice. Yeah, what's the command? Markdown to HTML, that's it. Give me some of that, John. Yeah, that'll work. So on post page, I should be able to... And let's add another. And this fella. There we go. Let's see how it works. Hopefully it did some hot reloading behind the scenes. Hopefully, right? Rejoining the server. Ooh, 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 look. You can see it back here. Refresh. Right. How are we doing over here? Build error. Build error? If value changed is used 2 or more times for this component, parameters must be unique. Okay. So, do I not need that? Right, because it's binding? Value changed. There we go. And rejoining the server. That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Is it the error of the bind? I think it is. So this is another post. This is an H2. Right? Hey, look at all the goodies that we get out of that. All right, so now if I go to second post, hey, all right, that was easy. Basic formatting, but our markdown editor works. Ship it? Looks good. Right? Maybe, hang on, let's look here. Maybe we can remove some of these. That's okay, that's okay. That's fine. Table, I think I'm okay with. Insert image, I'm not ready for. I'm not ready for insert image. Let's at least remove the insert image because we're not ready for it yet.
And then?
We'll add to our support images a line item, a task inside there to reactivate the button. Make sense? I think we also need, and then I think we need an about page that lists this component that we're using as well as markdig. I think we're going to need that, right? Yeah. All right, so how do I update the toolbar and remove an item? Thank you, Onosero. Welcome. What's the eye icon? The eye right here is toggle preview. So, interesting when it's there is no indication that it's been toggled. Where was I? I don't want to add a custom toolbar, but I want to customize the existing toolbar. Change the content? No. Mermaid will be interesting to add in here and have that capability. You can do alerts. That's nice. That's kind of cool. Adding a video reference. Cool. Let's see. Uploading image with .NET. Yeah, we'll add that, but an array of icon names to hide can be used to hide specific icons. Yes. So hide icons. And what are the names of the icons? There's the events. Nice. There's upload file. All right, all right. And I want to hide image. Yeah. Just for right now. We'll figure it out in the future. So, right here, hide icons, image. Is it capital, or do I have to do? Probably have to do lowercase, don't I? And actually, wasn't? Should this be? Come here. It might need to be a .NET string, which looks really weird to do here. Yeah. Like that. It's a string array. Oh, man. All right, fine. Really? You're gonna... Come on, man. You're gonna make me go over here and backspace delete it. How's that? Is that better? Rejoining the server. No, it's still there. Yeah, it's still there. Hide icons. And it should be a string array. Show me an example where we're using that. Keyboard shortcuts, that's cool. Right, is there a disable? Not just hide, but disable? No. Yeah, I picked it up as a string array, so it's okay running it, but it won't... Alright, let's make it... Events, toolbar icons. And that's the name. They said there was a sample. Right? And he doesn't list the hide icons. I say he, they, the... Yeah, why isn't it... Do we need to force a rebuild? Shouldn't have to. Yeah, blammo. I think I broke it. I think I broke it. See what we get here one more time. And then we'll ship this. Market is done. Ship it. There it goes. No, it's not hiding it. That's quite annoying. An array of icon names can be used to hide specific icons, completely customizing the toolbar. That's it. I really don't want to read this person's source code to take a look at how this works. I'm Markdown editor, blah, 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 blah. Really? What's he do with hide icons? What do they do with hide icons? Yeah. And it initializes with the hide icons. Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen.
Hey, how you doing there, Chris Jones? You think it's draw image, not image? That was the action. I mean, let's give it a shot. I'm game. Draw image. Nope. Still there. If we look at the JavaScript, I'm willing to bet, I don't know. Options. Options.hide icons, yeah. And that's an easy MDE. Okay. And that's already minified over here. It's going to be in, yeah. Good luck. No. Well, it's in easy MDE. So let's go to easy MDE. Right, what are the names of the icons? Yeah. Guide and heading. That looks similar. image. This has it as just image. No. No. Nope. Doesn't get rid of it. Just use some JS editor like Quill and add some initializer disposer. Somebody's already done it for me. Like, eventually we'll end up replacing this with our own. But for right now, like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it for right now. I'm going to get rid of the hide icons. Like, we're in a minimum viable. Hold on. What? What about upload image? I don't think it's upload dash image, but happy to give that a shot. Nope. Still there. Open issue 38. Hide icons is not working. The name fields provided in the documentation are incorrect. Try prefixing with MDE-TB-. Really? That was it. That was it. Yep. All right. Solved. Ship it. Love the power of Twitch and coding with friends. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Get status. Yep. Git commit. Added markdown editor. We should probably add... Oh yeah, Mario coins. Absolutely. Mario coins for Phil Vesey. Thank you so much. Let's... Before we get too far... Let's add a credits page, add a attribution page that has links to the other packages that are used. Right, we did this with ClipTalk. Put it as an about page, maybe. And let's call this about SharpSite, so that it's always there, right? Yeah, about SharpSite. Let's just say using Blazor. No. Let's do an H2 here. Packages used. There we go. These should probably be links. Right. Let's go to chat and just ask it to replace. No. Chat. Replace the text names of these NuGet packages with links to their packages on NuGet.org. Have it generate the links for me. Thank you. Why is that taking so long? Thank you. Yep, looks good. Salvarius, thank you so much. Appreciate the subscription with Prime, and I'll make a donation to the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Much appreciate. I appreciate that support. Thank you, thank you. And for right now, I'll just add a link in the nav menu, just for right now, to About SharpSite. See if it generates it for me. Yes! Thank you. Cool. And if we go back over here, it's fine for right now. Privacy page in terms of service. I think that's something that whoever implements is going to want to specify their own privacy page in terms of service. I think there's privacy page in terms of service for the framework that will live somewhere else. But this declaration, I think, needs to be carried with the software. You wonder if the editor itself should be a plugin that's initially installed and falls into that plugin architecture? It's not a bad idea, Steve. Not a bad idea. So that folks can upgrade the Markdown plugin? Sure. Markdown editor should be swappable. If users would like a different Markdown editor, they should be able to swap in a component that supports their needs. I don't know how it's going to be swappable, but let's at least build that. Build something to take care of that. And I think we can do that very quickly here. By adding a Markdown editor component, and yeah. This is going to get a little nutty. Hang on, before I do that. Added about page to credit packages used in SharpSite. Okay. What? Oh, git push, not .NET push. There we go. And let's call this just text editor. Yeah. The thought being, when the plugin happens, it'll replace this thing. And we're going to output that, right? This is the kind of abstraction that becomes, in my mind, interesting. And let's just call this content. Yeah. No, that's not what I'm going to put in there. And we're going to make this an parameter. Right. Come here, you. Editor required. Yeah. And we're not going to have a default value there. This needs to be public. Thank you. So now, put security issues more on webmasters for the plugins that way. A little bit. So I don't have that event handler in here, and I should be able to now just replace this with text editor, right? Now, is this... Do I need to do that? And there is no hide icons. I don't know if I have to do bind like that. Let's take a look. Back over here. Oh, so sorry. No, because I don't have content changed for it to do a thing. But I think I can just do @content because it's a reference type. Right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there we go. And if we take Narf and make that bold, save, back over here. Dax, give me just a second. I'll read your message there and answer your question. No, I do need a bind on that so that on content changed, it reads that value. Right? Yeah. We'll assign the current value of the expression to the value and assign a delegate that attempts to set the value on the on change. Yeah. So I need a content, right? There's... It actually gave me a nice error message there around it. Thank you for the follow. Is it Agathon TV? Hello? There we go. I need a content changed property. Okay. I've never done this before, so let's have some fun, right? Content changed. All right. I'm guessing... So what should content changed be? No. Why don't you help me with this? Add an event handler to allow the content property to be bound, right? I don't think that's it. Don't think that's it. No. Public event handler content changed. Do I need to make that a parameter? Sure looks like it. Like that. Oh, man. But I need to call that at some point. I can't just have it sitting there, right? So... Right, I need to do the bind event up here. Right? Well, if bind wires it up, then... No. That can't be it. No. Use a local variable initialized from content. All right, so let's do private string. Then I'm getting and setting on that. Right? Yeah, like that. Now, why don't you... Should be auto property. No. So I had the property come in. Otherwise, the framework will have race conditions. So you're saying do something. Come here, you. Like that. Make this into a property. Got an extra deal there. Have this go off of the internal one like that. But make this... Hang on. I've got a handful of questions backing up there. Let me finish this. What does this not like? It wants the get set. And it wants it to be an auto property. Yeah. Oh, okay. We like that. Okay. So then do... You were saying do a bind value after? And we can do call the method to go content changed. It's not going to like that. Right, because we need to tell it the string that's changed. Versus... If we take this... Right, and do that. Get, see, that's going to be a race condition. Right, now I need to have an internal value that I'm managing. Right, take that, replace this, and do that. Yeah, go away. I think that's what we're talking about. Right, so if we take this and make that bold and take a look, there it goes. Now we got it. Now we got it. And then there's a handful of questions there. Let's get to those in chat. And let's talk about some of your questions as we wrap this up. Introduced an abstract text editor component. And we'll figure out how to do some of the other registration stuff later. Git push. So it doesn't completely solve 14. But number 6, we've got a pull request that takes care of that. Fixes number 6. Posts should support Markdown. Create that pull request. There we go. Let me catch up with chat. There we go. The build test is running here. Let me catch up with chat. There were a handful of questions, comments that came through there. Let me start with this. Let's back up to Dax. Says, I used to work at a web hosting company and had to deal with WordPress instances on a daily basis. If I want 1 cent on the idea of a better WordPress, please, is that it is easy to migrate to another host without the need of a plugin. For sure, there exist migration plugins for WordPress that work great, but I feel like this should be simplified. WordPress only has a limited export also. Maybe some staging feature too for PHP upgrades or whatever you plan to use. So, Dax, I agree with you. I think this should be runnable inside of a container. And I think we've already got some ideas that we want to be able to export configuration and re-import somewhere else. So I'm way on board with that export and import from one instance to another should be a first-class feature. And on the list of features we want to build here, exporting content is right there on the front page as one of the items we want to do. So, way on board with that. Yes. Ritter Rasmus says, I made a data table display component for our tools site because we use data tables everywhere. Quite familiar with making my own components. Such power. Totally. Yep. You could just migrate using FTP and moving database and editing config, but I'm talking about the end user experience. Completely agreed, Dax. I feel like when you say export a backup of my instance, I'd like a zip file that contains any custom CSS theming markup that I built. I'd like to optionally include some data dump that I can re-include somewhere else. I think there's some very cool ideas there that we can create as an issue to pin for now, and we can start talking about and figuring out what an import exporter tool looks like. It sounds like something Art Vandelay would sell. The importer and an exporter, and be able to, and maybe that's what we call the tool, the Vandelay tool, and it allows and it gives you that zip file that has those customizations in one place, and place it out there. Yeah, do me a favor. Can you create an issue on the repository? It's linked there at the top of the. It should be linked there at the top of Twitch chat. I don't think it is. I think it went away. Run the project command and it'll give you the link, and you can go and drop an issue on there so that we remember, and when we get a little bit further along and we're ready to talk about building an exporter tool, or if somebody else wants to pick up and build that exporter tool, it'll be easy to grab and work on. You don't like the setter approach, so you use this value changed. Yeah. I forget about the value change stuff. It's something I don't normally work with. Josepher asks, can Apache host C# ASP.NET Core pages? Yes, it can. Both Apache and oh my gosh, the little Edge web server can do that as well. Yep. So. Yep, we're hoping to build on containers here. Right now, we're at a very minimum viable, just get it working, so that then we can bring in some of these opinionated features that we wanted to bring. Nginx, that's what it was. Thank you. We can bring in some of these very opinionated features, plugins and modules, and start getting those working, and assemble containers and put that together the way we want. So that way, using a container-based approach will allow some amazing flexibility for where you want to deploy and run this thing. So you can use Nginx as a reverse proxy for ASP.NET Core. Apache works as a reverse proxy. There's documentation out there about how to set that up. It's pretty easy to do. It does the SSL offloading. Yep. So, yeah, there's configuration out there. Of course, if you're sitting inside of a container, there's other front ends and reverse proxies that you can use as well. I'm almost done my coffee. I've got about 45 minutes left here before I need to hop into some meetings, some work meetings for the day. Just taking a look around here. Yeah, we're all right. Just keeping an eye on things to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Yeah. think we're okay. Yep, we're good. We're good. It's definitely not recommended. What's not recommended? Serverless providers would love this. Yeah, I think so. So, and right, I have no I have no vision that this is going to be a we're done this week type of thing. This is going to be a very long process that grows this, and we're going, as this initial foundation is defined for this, and you see we've got just the basic features defined at this point. As that initial feature set is defined and the foundation grows, other folks will come online as contributors to the project, building plugins, building features. I want to enable Peach Pie integration with this so that you can take PHP built features and capabilities for other tool sets, bring them in and allow them to be used with SharpSide. So it's I have full expectation that this is a very long project that we're just kicking off and starting and having a good time learning about basics at this point. Basics. We'll get there and get into some other cool stuff later. Looks like our tests and our test, we don't have any tests. Looks like our build ran properly here. We've got a indication that it ran. Thank you so much for the follow. Is it Captain LeBron? Cool. So I'll squash and merge that in, and that will take care of the fix and close out our first milestone. I'll even delete the branch. I believe that closes out our first milestone, yeah. So I will jump over to my main branch. Git pull upstream main. I need to specify how to reconcile them. I'm not in the main branch, that's why. Really? Git config pull ff only. Git merge, no. So did it? No. Really? That feels weird. Let's go to my local, my forked copy of this. What's it ahead with? Adding global JSON to force a .NET version. I thought I already had that. Update. And now it thinks it's 2 commits ahead. Okay. Adding global JSON. Right, and that should still work. There comes the build. Thinking far ahead, but it would be nice if there was some sort of AI-based security review. That is That is very interesting. But definitely out there. Yeah, that's building just fine. Yep. Come on. Thank you. Cool. Not got. Get. So now if I get pull, okay. Doesn't like it. Get merge upstream main. Okay. Really? Now I'm 3 commits ahead. No. Get rebase upstream main. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. Much better. All right. Cool. Let me catch up on chat a little bit over here. Hey, Frank. Is it the same remote? Yes. Right? The upstream remotes. Yep. Holy smokes, what happened on Twitter? Yeah, there we go. All right. So we've hit our first milestone. There we go. 100% complete. Oh, you can't see it. Don't mind me. I'm a professional streamer right here, this guy. So, minimum viable. We can create posts. We can edit posts. We can publish posts, and they appear on the screen. Done. First is complete. Yeah, well, we can do some. There we go. But at this point, it's still using the default theme, right? We're at 0.1. We're using a default theme at this point. That's kind of garbage. So we should figure out something to do with that.
Developers.
Root Racing, welcome. Let's also create a tag for this. Can we create a tag? How do I create a tag on the upstream? Right? Like, I completely forget how to use get tag all of a sudden.
And then?
No and then. Make an unsigned annotated tag object. So dash A. V 0.1. First version of sharp site with minimal features, Postgres support, and no and default Blazor theming. Git push like that, and then somehow get a pull request in there with that tag. No. Yeah, I can't push. Can I do git push upstream tags? There it is. There we go. Can I edit that? No. I can create a release from that. So it's got a zip, it's got a tar GZ. What I'd like is to create a container from that. I'm not going to worry about it for this first version, but let's create a release process that delivers a container to a GH registry. I don't know what's involved here, but we'll figure this out as part of our next release. Our next milestone. I'm not even going to call it a release yet. So, like, small steps. Let's get some of these things built, done. There's features that we can discuss and build through here. Like, posts right now don't include any kind of introductory or preview text. What does that look like? Right? Or some summary text. Post should include some introductory text that could be used on the yeah. Let's talk about how it could be used. This text could be used on the home page and on other search pages. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. And we can add that capability here. Is .NET Aspire already able to output Docker containers? .NET Aspire doesn't do any delivery, right? But writing a build script that uses the output of .NET Aspire to create containers, yes, we can do that. Let's see. This I think will be a little bit further along. Package caching, not concerned about that. Go a little bit further. This would be a good one to do. Create a contributing document. Yeah, okay, that's already on. Oh, somebody already put it on there. Embedded images, a little bit further on. Robots text, we can do that. Postgres migration assistant. Yes. Static pages, we can do that here. RSS generation. Yes. Okay. we have a text editor component that should be used as the abstraction layer. Between the editor and pages. I don't want to use the word pages.
Developers.
Blazor pages of the site, of Sharp site. .web. That way it can be swapped in, right? And I feel like there's probably a components library that we're going to swap in at some point. C# on Linux, how does this go together? It goes together great, Adam. How you doing? Welcome into the chat. C# runs with .NET 8, .NET 9 on Linux, and we're building and writing code here on my Linux system. I have Visual Studio Code that I'm using. And we've got a bunch of here. Bunch of C# code that's running here on Linux. So that ain't no Windows button down there in the bottom left corner, know what I'm saying? So it works great. It compiles and runs on Linux, on Mac, just like it would on Windows, and we have a set of command line tools, and we can even build, and in the future we'll have this project, we'll have it package up as a container. So you're on Linux half the time, says Frank. Very cool. Mythin says maybe another future question. Let's say someone or company is going to use SharpSite for building websites for their customers. How would you think this would work? Like start a new project, include SharpSite packages so they can deploy for every customer? No, so Mythin, that's a great question about kind of what's the use pattern here? What's the vision for how this framework should work? And speaking for myself, I would like this to be a container that you pull down and log into with an initial default credential. I'm going to and then myself all over the place here. And then start configuring it, mount a volume, set up a connection to a database, start configuring.
And then
Take that whole thing and lift it up and deploy to wherever that destination is.
And then
Because it's built with containers, you should be able to take the volume that you wrote all of your content to, as well as all of your database content, and move it with SharpSite and the containers to its final destination, to its home.
and then
Profit. Does that sound like a good vision of how this should work? Let me know. I'm also going to create a new issue here for authentication. Like, we need to build authentication piece. I hate it. I'm not happy with it. But we need I hate it only because security and authentication is one of those things that's just such a pain in the neck. I'm going to add it with users. I know I'm not showing the screen right now. Should be able to log in and be granted a role. Initial user should be something simple, like admin with a password of admin that needs to be changed after first login. And I'm going to set that up with a milestone of 0.3. And we'll make 0.3 our security one. Thank you for the follow, Adam. Appreciate you joining us. Give me 1 second here, and I'm going to get back, and I'll read some more of the questions, some of the comments there on chat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have this 0.3, and we will call this, let's call this the initial security release, or introducing security. So, introducing initial. Yes. You updated the PR? Cool. Authentication and authorization capabilities. All right. So, milestone created, introducing security, and I'll go back to that other issue for. That seems more like a... I should split this up. Let me come back to that. I want to answer your questions coming in here. I'm scrolling up. Adam says, I daily drive Linux for about 3 years. Where'd it go? Right here. Never really did anything in C# on Linux because when I have something like C#, which is built by Microsoft for Windows primarily, I just chose something more native. I hear you. And quite frankly, for the last 10 years, .NET and C# and ASP.NET have been available to run on Linux natively, right? There is no transpiler or anything going on there. It runs natively on Linux, and in fact, a large part of Azure features that you see out there are, and quite frankly, some of the Microsoft 365 tools are built with C# based backend services and run on Linux, run inside of containers out there. So it's a new world, and those features, those capabilities are out there. And we're trying to reach out and let folks know this is a really great experience. So, yeah, Keycloak is a bit clunky, and that's something that will enable in the future. I know. I was purposely hiding the screen for a little bit. Mythin says sounds like a good vision. I can imagine there would be scenarios where you'd need more customization options, where it might be a better fit to be able to load the website in Visual Studio solution. Let's get the initial features built here. I think that level of advanced customization is within scope of what we're trying to do, right? When we discuss the ability to theme or extend SharpSite, there's 3 levels that I think are possible, right? We want folks to be able to submit custom HTML, custom Markdown, define pages, submit some CSS. There's going to be themes that are built on top of Razor that you can download and install. And I think that third one, the advanced, hey, let me get at it and write some custom Blazor to extend it, I think that's the third level of customization that you're doing a good job of explaining there, Mythin. And it's a good vision to keep those aware that we want to take a look at. And DJ Deepex updated that PR. Cool. Annie's here. Hey, welcome in, Annie. Hello. You have a question. You have 2 arrays with about 10,000 values each. From array 1, I want to find the same entities from the second array. What should I do to reduce time complexity? Use some link and do an intersect statement. The intersect method will give you the list of values that exist in both arrays. And link with that type of method should run very, very quickly. You know, it does read... Adam says, I know it runs natively, but what I mean is I feel like it's kind of ported to Linux from Windows. Well, so what? Like, does it matter where things came from? Like, should Windows folks say, oh, I don't want to use JavaScript because folks started with that on Unix, not Linux, Unix. Like, I shouldn't use Java. That started on a Sun Microsystems Solaris machine back in 1993, 94, 95. I shouldn't, like... I hear you. But so what? We're all friendly. Doesn't matter. So... Link is pretty awesome. You're right, PH Gaming Dev. The link capabilities that are available inside of C# make it really easy to work with sets of data. In the end, it doesn't really matter, but when I was last using it, it felt way faster on Windows than on Linux. Oh, Adam. There's performance numbers that you can find out there, performance tests on how .NET performs. It's actually significantly faster on Linux than it is on Windows or Mac. So, totally hear you. And quite frankly, a lot of the folks who work on the .NET team do use Linux first. And there's a number of folks that use Mac as well that work on the .NET team. But there's a series of benchmarks called the Tech Empower benchmarks. And you can see just how fast .NET runs on Linux. So it's and you make some very good points here. These are things that we've heard from folks who haven't peeked in at .NET in the last 5-10 years, and that's okay. And part of my job, part of what I'm trying to do with streams like these, is to share and show that .NET's grown up a lot. It's matured. It's available everywhere you want to be, and runs really fast and has a great set of command line tools like I think you're seeing me use here on stream to build and interact with things. And some of the new tool sets that are becoming available, like .NET Aspire, are going to allow you to build and develop applications, distributed applications, not necessarily web applications, but distributed applications, and deliver those in a way that makes your code do the things that you want it to by default. Great logging, tracing, resiliency, all built in. It's great stuff. So thank you for the follows. Annie Singh with the follow, and Leo West, appreciate it. Adam with the follow a little bit before that. Brian Sewella, Root Racing, thank you for joining us. I appreciate the follows. I hope you stick around. I like to stream here during the mornings East Coast time in the United States. I really appreciate you joining us. Let me see here. Catching up on chat. DJ Deepak says, what I've noticed is that Visual Studio Code has become extremely faster in startup, even if you use many extensions. Yeah, absolutely. Mithin says, I think it's my inexperience with adding custom C# code on the fly. Tell me more. Inserting custom CSS doesn't seem that hard. True. Custom C# code would be a whole different level. You're right. And that's where reflection and being able to compile on the fly inside of a hosted service is going to become a much more advanced type of feature. The reason I asked is because I'm building my own software as a service application, and this CMS might be a really good fit for the customers that also want a simple website. Yeah. I'd love to talk to you more about integrations. Once we get beyond just the basic, hey, we're building a web page. Hey, we're putting angle brackets on a web page. Yay! Angle brackets, curly braces. Woohoo! All right. Yay! When we get to the point, shut up. Thank you. When we get to the point that we're building a plugin ecosystem where we want to be able to take a package that has some custom C# code, load it in, recognize it, and make it part of the ecosystem, the running application, that's where it's going to get really compelling and interesting. So Mythin, I'm right there with you. And if there is some custom C# code to write, how do we save that off and run that? Like, there's ways to do that with reflection, but how do we do that safely inside of our framework that we're designing here? And those are the type of intermediate to advanced questions that we're going to get to maybe even as soon as the next month. We'll see. It's going to be a fun experience as we go through and we learn more about building those capabilities. Is it a Manx 140? Welcome in. Is Kubuntu my favorite Linux distro? Ubuntu is my favorite Linux distro. Kubuntu is certainly really nice. I love the way they have things packaged up for me. The folks at kfocus.org build and contribute to the Kubuntu ecosystem. So I'm friends with some of the folks there, and they do a fantastic job trying to create that that customer-focused, handheld white glove experience inside of the Kubuntu distribution. So I really do enjoy it. That's User on YouTube. How you doing there, User? So Annie with a follow-up question here. Can I be more specific? Currently using Python and NumPy for the same. What hardware and wraps on top of Python I should do to reduce time complexity? On Python, I don't know if there's an intersect in Python that you can use. But the way I would do it in C# is with what's it called? Is with link. So I don't have further insight on that because my Python skills aren't that good. So what's this? Yes, using profiles in Visual Studio Code helps out. The KDE team does make some really good Qt applications. You're right, Land of the Lead. I agree. Hash tables can help with that. Yes, convert to a hash table and then do lookups against it. Yes, yes. I'm out of coffee. Fine, I'll switch to the Alani. Moons60, welcome in. Hello, Moons. Welcome, welcome. Frank's been using Ubuntu and GNOME for the past 2 years. Recently moved to Debian and KDE. Really enjoyed KDE. Really enjoyed Debian, but not sure with KDE. And that's what I like about Kubuntu, because it has all of it kind of smashed together. So, that's okay. Adam doesn't really use VS Code. You use NVim. That's okay. But I think it integrates with LSPs. Yes, it does. Do I use OmniSharp for this? I do. And I get the syntax highlighting in OmniSharp. OmniSharp isn't so good with the Blazor syntax highlighting. So Blazor's built on the Razor templating engine. And the Razor template engine ends up being a mashup of, 4 different programming languages? Between HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and C#. So it gets really complex. But there are instructions, Adam, that you can download to use OmniSharp with NVim, so you can get code completion, syntax highlighting inside your .cs files pretty easily. Yeah, and that ends up being a big help. So, cool. All right. Hey, thanks for helping out, helping Annie there. Appreciate it. Land of the Elite. Mario coins for you. Where's the Mario coins? There we go. You know, OmniSharp with Vim, you use COC. Was curious about that. Yeah, cool. Yep. That should help you out with it. So, what? Okay, and I am just about out of time here for now. I do have to get to a meeting that's starting. I have a production meeting for .NET Conf. For those of you that don't know, I'm the producer, the executive producer. Makes me sound so official. For .NET Conf, the largest online video training event. It's broadcast live here on Twitch and YouTube. The ads are in progress. Rats. I'll give it 2 minutes and I'll talk more about .NET Conf in a second. Land of the Elite tried getting into NeoVim, but Lua is just not a language you like. Makes configuring NVim very unpleasant. I hear you on that. Mythin says, since I'm using .NET 9 for this application, have I come across the new GUID version of C# already? Haven't needed to use it yet. Read somewhere that C# 13 will have a new version included that is much easier to use for sorting and such. Yes, you can create ordered GUIDs. I forget what it's called, but there is a new GUID feature there. Got about another minute. Anything hints I can tell about .NET Conf? .NET Conf will be using TagsApp. We're going to be doing some testing and configuration for TagsApp next week. We will have TagsApp set up to run. TagsApp, of course, is an application that we built here live on stream that allows you to collect feedback, comments from Twitch chat, YouTube chat, Twitter, X, Mastodon, and a couple other locations. But we're going to turn on Blue Sky for .NET Conf. So, as well as a text form on the front of the .NET Conf website. So you'll be able to interact with the speakers on pretty much all the social media platforms that you might be using. So we're excited about those capabilities. Yeah, .NET Conf coming up next week. Next week? No. Coming up in 3 weeks. Next week we'll be testing and setting up with TagsApp for that to prepare. Ads are over. There we go. So, to finish and to recap for those that got lost in the ads here on Twitch, I'm the executive producer for .NET Conf. We've got some production meetings that I need to get to here because we need to plan the execution and delivery of this event. Running a live event with presenters from all over the world and coordinating that and scheduling it over 3 days, more than 80 sessions of content is a lot. It's a very complex effort that we put together. There's a lot of folks on the team. We've got about a half dozen folks that work in the production studio just to make sure that we're delivering a quality event for you. So we're really looking forward to talking about and delivering that event for you. So really excited to deliver that, and I need to wrap up and head over for that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody jumping in here. Some of the folks that are new to the channel, I really appreciate the follows, the resubs. Thank you so much. Of course, I'll be donating our cheers and our subscriptions to the Raspberry Pi Foundation, paying it forward so that they can help make more of the small commodity computers that folks can learn from. They also run a series of training venues called coder dojos all over the world. Really happy to support them in their efforts to make learning about tech easier for everybody, regardless of where they are. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. There's all kinds of replays and content available in my channel. You can find it just below here or over there, depending on which YouTube app you're using or if you're using the website. And if you're on Twitch, let's find somebody to raid. Let's get you connected with somebody else that's doing something cool here on Twitch. Is it Alt Take Gaming? Thank you for the follow. Let me get you connected to... we raided Code Rush last time. Let's get you connected. Let's go over to Lana Lux. Let's go over and raid our friend Lana Lux. It says this is Mask Dev? She's making masks? What's she working on there? I'm gonna click in and see what's going over there. Let's go raid our friend Lana Lux. She's building a game called Strain. There we go. She's building a game called Strain that's using Unity. Really cool. And we're happy to support her as she designs and builds some of the components for that application. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Discord. Keep an eye on my socials. If I can work it out we might be doing a Hot Ones chicken wing stream tomorrow. Let me see what I can do. All right? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. Ooh, that's not the right Lana Lux. You're right. There it is. That's the right one. My bad.